Floyd's Mayhem Garage. Well, just pulled into the shop here, getting home from work. Of course, I drove the stock car, or the NAS Charger, or Heavy Metal. I did call it Heavy Metal. I need to start using that name and get that to stick a little bit better. But drove Heavy Metal, and so, of course, now that I'm home, gotta do the important part. Oh yeah! Now, I'm thinking, started playing with it the other day, and wasn't really too happy with it, and I've been kind of putting some more thought into it, and I think I've got it figured out. So, I'm ready to paint some numbers on this thing. I've decided on number 71. Couple of reasons. I don't really have a number that I thought kind of, personal connection would work very well on this. I just couldn't really think of much. And so one of my ideas I originally wanted was to do a Bobby Isaac car, which of course is number 71. And my friend Taylor told me, I think you should build your own car on this one, your own version. And so that's what I've done. I chose this teal, this greenish blue color, but I still want to have some hints. I am going for kind of that NASCAR look. So I think number 71 will be fitting, and it's going to look good anyways. And then I think I got some stickers for this, and got some ideas on stickers. I need to get more as well, but we can move forward from there. Yeah, I think I need to get masking and scuff this up, and I think I need to get some numbers painted here. Let's take a look at it. And not bad. I think I like it. Yeah, I marked it off. I did one yesterday and marked it off and kind of taped it, and I did not like how it looked. And I kind of tried to do it in sections, and one of the problems I had yesterday was the 7 slants further than the 1 does. And so with my slants, I was trying to kind of measure everything out, and it just didn't look right. So I basically just freehanded this one. Marked my bottom, marked my top, and just so I had a reference of height, and just went for it, and I think I'm happy with it. Some of the lines aren't exactly perfect, but you know what, I think it's also good at the same time, because it's supposed to have kind of that old school sort of bubbly look, and so that's just how it's supposed to be. So now this is going to be the fun part, is I've got to replicate this on the other side. And I do want to make them come close to matching. So I'm going to have to get some measurements on this. Maybe I'll just wing it. You know what? I'm just going to wing it. Let me see what happens. Let me mark off top and bottom, and let me just go see what I can make happen. So now one line here isn't perfectly level. It kind of tapers to the end before it flares, which is kind of okay. I mean, some 7s are that way, some aren't. The 1's kind of goofy being this bubbly with the angle, but that's kind of how the Bobby Isaac one was. So, I think I'm going to roll with it. I like it. So, and my plan here is I think I'm going to paint the white. And once I paint the white, it'll be just that. And then I can mask off the white, and then I'll mask off a space, basically. I want to do a thin line on one side, and then I'll do a thicker line for like a shadow on the other, and then I'll spray the black. And of course I'm running into issues as well. I was thinking about doing stickers on this, decals, but they're kind of pricey. And then of course, if you look here, I'm already peeling some paint up. So it seems my my one-day paint job I didn't seem to do the best prep work, which I'm not surprised. So, with that being the case, I know this door as well. I really need better lighting to paint. You always need better lighting to paint. Looked great in here in the dark. Once I pulled it out, I realized I got it pretty thin on the door. You can see some of the lines, and you can see some of the primer coming through. And in fact, the fender is darker than the door, because the door is so light, or got such a thin coat on it. So I eventually kind of need to repaint this thing anyways, so I could mask the numbers off when I'm done, sand the rest of the door down, and repaint it. So that may happen as well. So, and that's where I was thinking of the decals, and having to buy several sets of decals and maybe repainting this at some point. I just decided to go ahead and paint it. So, because as well, if it doesn't quite come out right, I'm not too happy with it, I can sand it down and repaint it. So, which is pretty much kind of the whole theme of this car. Just make it happen. Yeah, I'm quite happy with how that looks. Yeah, let's try to do that on the other side. And not bad. It's pretty close. Not quite perfect to the other side, but it is pretty darn close. And I'm starting to realize I gotta remember, kind of remind myself here, what this car is. You know, the hood. Hood's a good example. Nice big old dent here. You know, the whole center, this whole hood's trashed. It's dented, it's bent, it's crooked. It's got this weird, like it's got hit at this front edge at some point. And so it's almost pushed in a little bit. And, you know, the car itself, fender, stitch welded together. I never did finish it because I didn't see that there was a point to. Because this whole car is kind of a junkyard type build, if you want to call it, or, you know, roadkill style for sure. But I was never building a show car out of this. So, these numbers, I kind of finally realized, let me just put them on. And, you know, if they're close to the same, that's going to be perfect. And that's exactly where we're at. So, I'm just, you know, kind of winging it. And this is going to be one of those, you know, this car, there's so much happening to where at this point, I think the last thing people are going to be looking at is the numbers and if they match from side to side. Plus, I think I need one on the roof. I mean, this is a NASCAR, or, you know, NASCAR style build. So yeah, the old NASCAR's had it on the roof. I think this needs it on the roof. You know, they also had it on the deck lid. So might have to put a number on the deck lid too, but for sure doing the doors for now. And I'm pretty sure I need to put one on the roof. And yeah, we'll go from there. Alright, next day here. Numbers are all dried up and cured up, and they are looking awesome. So door numbers are looking good. Got a couple stickers on there. And of course, shout out to Morski. Since got some stickers from him. Of course, I'll end up adding more. Figure out what stickers I want to get on there and whatnot. But numbers, big old number on the roof. Plan now, since these dried overnight, I want to now mask these off, and I'll basically mask a section, and I want to add a black outline to this plus a shadow. So it'll be a thin line and a shadow, and I'm not sure which side I want the shadow on yet. I'll figure that out. And yeah, that's in store for this, but I forgot to plug my GoPro in, so it's dying. So I'm going to get working on this while I plug the GoPro in, and I'll catch you up to date here in a little bit. Okay. Okay, it's taken forever to get to this point. It has literally been like 4 hours of masking. So I did stop, took a break, got some food, and came back and masked some more. So this is what the door's looking like. The roof. What I ended up doing was I did the roof the same way I did the doors. So painted the white. I ended up going around that, masking that off all the way, taping the inside out, and then going out, making my lines, masked that off, and then masked off all the extra. And did that for the roof and both doors. And so now, I got my thin line on this side, and then it fattens up, which is kind of like the shadow heading in that direction. and the doors do the same thing. So it's bigger on the, you know, more of a shadow side. And unfortunately, this door, I'm just gonna roll with it for now. I might have to take it off and actually repaint the door by itself. This door was in primer. I sanded it down, got a lot of the primer off, and actually got down to some paint. But a lot of the primer was just flaking off, so I got down to the base of the door when I painted this. But now that I've been masking it and pulling tape on and off, it's pulling paint off, and it's pulling it down to the metal. So the painted base that's on this door is no good. So I'll see what it looks like when I unmask it, but I got a lot of spots that are peeling already, and little pieces here and there. So I'm sure this is going to start looking terrible when I start masking, but hopefully it's good enough for now. And like I said, I might have to redo that later. But it's going to be, I'm going to have to, if it peels as bad as I think it's going to, which I'm pretty sure it's going to, I'll have to take this door off, strip it completely down, probably to bare metal, and then prime it and paint it, and then redo the number. So we'll see how that comes out. But the roof's kicking ass. The driver door's doing good too. So I had no paint adhesion issues on those. It's just that door over there. So same thing, this is masked off. Yeah, shoot some color, and actually I gotta scuff this up first. Go through, Scotch Brite all this, so the paint actually got something to stick to. And then spray it black, let it dry, and see what it looks like. And we're sprayed. Been drying for a little while here. I think we're about ready to take the tape off here and unmask everything and take a look at how these look. I'm excited. I think this black's gonna really make it pop. So let me get this unmasked and we'll take a look at it. Okay, the roof came out absolutely phenomenal. Look at how that looks. Oh yeah. That black really emphasized it, really added some depth to it. That is beautiful. And unmasking that was absolutely beautiful. Time-lapse that, but I figured I would take you with me on this one real time here. Let's unmask this. I still think the passenger door is going to be a nightmare, but I think this one's going to look good. So we'll unmask this one together. I'll go do the passenger side by myself and see how bad it comes out. But it is satisfying to unmask a product, especially, you know, something like this. This took me, it was over 4 hours to mask all this. And so this is a good, you know, or a good part of a day at least, you know, work getting into this. And yeah, look at those lines. And the purple tape's already come off this side. Look at that. Oh yeah. We'll just finish that one off. Look at that. Man. Uh-huh. Still filming here? Yes, we are. Oh, ho, ho. What are these videos called? Satisfying? Oh, that's satisfying. Look at that. Oh. Oh man, this is coming out nice. Alright. Put your in my mouth. Hold on. There we go. Okay. Which one's on top? I think this one's on top. Oh. Oh yeah, look at that. That is a good looking number. Alright. I'm happy with how this looks. Yeah, I think I already told you my thought process here is I'm not entirely sure what my final outcome here is. And like I know that door needs repainted or needs work, it's peeling. Because of that reason, I had decided to paint these on. I was gonna paint these originally, and I'm like, it's gonna be a lot of work. But I knew I could get the style that I wanted. But then after kind of playing with it, I decided I wanted to go with a decal, so I happened to be messing around on that door. And after unmasking it, it peeled off a whole bunch. And I'm kind of remembered, oh yeah, I did kind of a quick paint job on this. Not kind of, I did a really quick paint job on this. So, and then I kind of remembered this is a race car, if you will. It's not a show car. So I don't need to spend a ton of money on this. So it took some time to do this, but it really didn't take a whole lot of money. And the cool thing is, like the other side, now that I gotta redo it, I can redo it. I don't have to buy another sticker or waste money on stickers, Plus I get the style that I like. Like this. Those numbers look good. I really like those. Man, that black just makes it pop. Yeah, that adds some really good depth to those. Not sure what the sun over here, I think it's making the car a little dark, but yeah. Well, let me go do the side I don't want to do. Excellent! Honestly, not as bad as I thought it was going to be. So, I still had some peel up, but this is an easy 10-footer. So, I had a lot of like this stuff, little chunks coming off and little pieces, but overall it did pretty good. I had one big chunk here. I've already filled in with some paint, try to make that look a little better. So I think I can just touch up a lot of these and just call it good. That's not nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. So, and of course the number looks killer, so that's good. Alright, I was kind of dreading that. I really figured it would come out a lot worse than it did. That's not bad. That's workable. How's that? It's workable. But man, do those pop. Wow. And in the middle of this drying and masking, scuffing, coats, between coats, whatnot, I've been goofing around back here. I've got some pieces of aluminum. I'm thinking I'd like a spoiler of some sort, and so I started playing with this. I don't have big enough pieces of aluminum, and the stuff's kind of thin. It might be a little flimsy. We'll see what happens. Kind of the whole theme of this car, if I don't like it, I can actually change it, but change it later, I think this will end up working though. So I've got 3 pieces. Basically, bent these at, I don't know, what is that, a 45? And that'll basically go onto the back end of the deck lid here. And because I don't have long enough pieces, I ended up cutting an 8-inch section that'll go in the middle here, and it'll overlap by an inch on each side, and I figured I could just rivet it together, and it'll kind of look like it's supposed to be that way anyways. So, but importantly on this, let me pull these up here. Cool thing in doing it this way, or doing what I'm doing with those, mounting it off the back here, because of how rusty this is, fingers through it, that aluminum's pretty much going to cover this up. So, and I wasn't sure how to get it mounted, since there's not a whole lot of solidness there. There's some solid here. The middle I think is solid enough to attach to, but I think what I can do is just slide a piece of metal up in here, and then go through that. I don't know if I'm going to do nut and bolt or just sheet metal screws, but and at least lay a piece of metal back in here and it'll sort of squeeze the rust together between it, and it should hold, I think. I guess there's one way to find out. Yeah, still working on that. And yeah, just at this point tinkering with this thing. It's I've had a vision in my head when I started. I know quite a few people keep telling me, you know, giving me different ideas, things, whatever, or a lot of people really like the ratty look when it was just pieced together with all the different colors. I really particularly didn't like it very much. There are some cars that have a good look, and they sort of end up that way with pieces put together. But this one, like the biggest one, my fenders were bare metal when I started this project, so I painted those right away, so I chose a color. And so I had this whole color kind of in mind to begin with. But if my fenders were, you know, already a color, I probably would have stuck with that if they were different colors, you know. They would have had that kind of multi-toned look, but it was just, I think it was almost too far gone for that look to be good. But anyways, you know, so I've had this look in my head for pretty much the whole time, and we were getting pretty close. And that, of course, is this old kind of vintage NASCAR vibe. You know, there's plenty of old NASCAR Chargers, and just getting some kind of inspiration vibes from both of those, you know, big numbers. I didn't originally think of putting numbers on the roof, but then looking at all the old pictures, they all have numbers on the roof. And from what I can tell, most of the pictures of the angles are bad, but all the ones I can find, they have them on the deck lid too. So I think I might have to do that. But yeah, it's coming together. And originally I did want to try to keep the air cleaner under the hood and give it kind of that stock look, more of that stock car look, you know. But as you seen how this came out, that wasn't gonna happen. So I'll figure something out with that still. But yeah, this thing is coming along nicely. It's looking like something. I want to see how this thing looks like with bumpers. That's another biggie. Bumpers, and I gotta extend the quarter panels. So, because originally this car was so rusty, I was originally planning on restoring this car, and I'd bought a lot of parts for it. And part of that was I had quarter skins for this, so I still have them, and I'm debating whether I should cut those up or just make my own patches for this. And at this point, I think I'm going to make my own patches, because I can just do patches on the bottom there and patches here. That way I don't have to mess with the entire thing. But because I was originally going to restore it, I was just cutting out rust. And so I was getting rid of all rusty metal, and that's how far I had to cut up to get into good metal. And the passenger side, of course, I had to cut up further. And this one's cut up quite a ways. And then I wasn't sure what I was doing, so I cut across, just trying to get down to good metal. And to the point, actually, I bought frame rails, and they're back half frame rails for this. I was going to restore this, and that's when I ended up finding my General Mayhem. Well, you know, what I turned into my General Mayhem. And thus, now we're here. So, yeah, they kind of look cool, but if they're even, but if this one was cut as far as that one, I'd probably leave them. But because this one's cut up so far, I can't stand them. They need to drop down. Plus, like this one, I want to put the bumper on. The bumper hangs down 6 inches. The edge of the bumper is right here, so the bumper's going to hang lower than the quarter. So that's going to look goofy in itself. So I definitely got to add something to these quarters. But yeah, this thing's this is too ridiculous of a project. It's silly. But it's so awesome just because of that. Well, GoPro died last night, so didn't end up filming. I did, however, finish this up, and I think it's looking pretty sharp. So still a little flimsy. I do like the design though. It's pretty slick. So got added pieces with sort of the centers here. The piece added in the middle is actually kind of cool. The extra rivets and then the supports. So, and of course I did that because there's structural supports, I guess, if you will. But yeah, it came out pretty good. Those little end pieces kind of finish off the end of my quarter panels. They don't fit perfectly, but they're kind of good enough. I got to make a plate for the back of this one because I couldn't get a rivet because there's just no metal behind it. So I got that, but yeah, this thing looks pretty good. I'm happy with it. Like I said, I might have to, we'll see how it does. Might have to redesign it at a later date with some thicker aluminum, but it works for now. And in design, I really like it. So, looks cool. And yeah, I think so.